I don't feel like making art today, but I've got to get this done.
The MaddK Studio Show.
Hi everybody, Ken Madden here. This is the MaddK Studio Show. Today we're going to be talking about mindset and attitude and what that means in your art career or your artist's whims. What is mindset? Mindset is what you think is possible. With the right mindset, it allows you to put your dreams or your goals into action, but you have to have the right mindset for that. For example, if you are thinking, if you're thinking, I'm very bad at this. I'm very bad at, we're going to use artwork for example. So I'm very bad at oil painting. I can never get to the point where I'm as good as that person at oil painting. Versus if your mindset is in your mind and you put this in your mind, you think yourself, well, with inspiration and practice, I can achieve anything. I will achieve anything. Not even can, but will. So think about the difference. In 1 minute, you can go from, I'll never be as good as that guy in art or music or at my job, to, boy, if I just spend the time and focus on it, I could be as good as anybody doing anything. Probably better. That's what mindset does. It's a real, you have to put your head in it first. You have to get your head in the game. So anyway, that's the start of mindset, and we're going to go into it a little bit deeper. So I can remember when I was younger, maybe in high school, or maybe first in college, I was using these Prismacolor pencils. These guys here, I've always used them. They're really good. But they had a brochure. I can't remember if it was a sales brochure or it was on something I saw in a book. But there was a drawing of a tractor, and it was a tractor, just like a side view of a tractor. I don't have it today. I don't know where it is, but it's a really interesting mindset review when I look back. So my mindset at the time when I looked at this beautiful drawing of a tractor. I mean, it's a tractor. And it was kind of I think it was like a John Deere tractor ad or whatever it was. But it was done on Bristol board, something like this, where it has a little bit of texture to it. And the person captured this tractor. To me, it looked like a photograph, but you could tell it was drawn because it was on that board. So it had the texture of the board and the drawing on it. And I remember looking at it going, wow, I can't believe a person could do that with pencils. And in the back of my mind, with that kind of mindset, it was, I could never do it. I could never do that with pencils. And I just kind of forgot about it. It was a picture I'd look at once in a while. And I remember having it around. But being able to see that and just see something that's just incredible, that blows your mind, there's going to be a moment there where you're like, whoa, that's just amazing. How do you take that and turn that into, I can now do something with that information? Years later, through being in college and doing artwork and drawings, much like this one behind me, that was one I did in 1991 actually. So years later, I was able to not only achieve that level of proficiency with the pencils and the drawing and the artwork, but surpass it. And looking back, I remember seeing the drawing. We're probably talking 20 years ago now, but I remember looking at it again after doing a couple of hundred portraits of cars and doing a bunch of artwork and different things like that I'd done. I remember looking at it going, that really, well, still good and very, very well done. I'm like, I can do that. I mean, that was not, I look at it now and it was a general color study that I would do. And, realizing that really changed my mindset, because I looked at that. I'm like, this is something in my past that I couldn't believe someone could do with pencils. And now here I am, not only doing it, but doing it even better than I could have imagined. And it was all through mindset. Think of it as hope versus drive. When you first see it, and this is where mindset will help you. When you first see something, you see that thing that you're like, I don't know if I can do this. I hope I can do it someday, or I will do that someday. You see the difference there between I hope I can do it is kind of a, well, I hope maybe one time if I think about it, or I hope 20 years from now I'll be. No, I will do it. I can do it. That's a drive. That makes you. I look at things, look at a beautiful sunset when I'm driving to work in the morning and the sunrise, or the sunset when I'm driving home at night. There's oftentimes I'm screaming down the highway at 80 miles an hour, and I'm pressing the button. My phone sits on a little. I have it on a little rack on my windshield, and it sits on there. And I press the button so I could take pictures of the sunset as I'm driving down the road, because I'm so inspired like that. I'm like, I will draw that. So I've got dozens and dozens of pictures of sunsets and things like that with my new painting that I'm doing with acrylics. I'm really excited to take those on. And that's all it went from, I hope I can paint that someday, to I will paint that someday, to taking the action of, now I've got the images I need to do and I can put these together into a painting. That is mindset. However, what you also need with that mindset is perseverance. So just being able to sit and look at something and go, I can do this. I will do this. I've taken the steps to move forward in doing it. Now action has to happen. Without action, you get nothing. You can think about it and wish and hope all you want. Without action, you get nothing. And so working towards that goal, you could just take your ideas, put it into action with perseverance. So there's actually a biblical scripture that's really helped me in life, but it really pertains to art. So let me grab that and I'll read it to you quick. It's really short. All right. So I'm a Christian. A lot of you out there aren't. Maybe you're agnostic, maybe you're an atheist. This isn't a Bible teaching moment. I'm not trying to get all Christian-y on you. For those of you who are out there, God bless and I love you. But this is from the book of James. It's James 1 through 5. So it's really, really quick. Consider it pure joy, my brothers, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know at the testing of your faith develops perseverance. Perseverance must finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. That's a very moving verse in my life. However, think about in that your art. It's whether you're religious, not religious, it doesn't matter. Those words are gold, because it's basically you're going to work on something. Things aren't going to work out the way you want them to. Sometimes you'll be really pleased with your work that you come out with. Other times it'll be really difficult. It's just not coming out the way I want. I mean, how many of you out there have drawn something on a piece of paper and then ripped it out and thrown it away? It's the perseverance. It's okay to throw those things away, but keep at it. On the next page, start over, or go back into it. Unfold it, crinkle it out there, and put it back together, because at the end, when you've given it everything you've got to give, it will get better every single time. It has to, and it just will happen. But you have to have perseverance to make that happen. Easy for me to say. We can say. So anyway, that's Ken's Bible moment for the show today. So we talked a little bit about mindset. Now let's go into the other half of it, which is attitude. So if mindset is the kind of the idea of what you think is possible, what you can do, attitude is that feeling you get in the moment. So, for example, I can't wait to get into the studio to work. So I've been doing paintings like this one. This is a painting I did for a friend of mine. And this is all done with acrylics. And some of you that have been following me know that I'm really excited because I'm starting with this new medium and I love it. I can't wait to work on more and more acrylic paintings. I just really am excited about it. So that's my attitude in the moment usually is, I want to go paint. I can't wait to get in the studio to paint. Contrast that with, I really don't feel like it. I'm not feeling it today. That's kind of how I started out the show today. I'm not really feeling it. I don't want to do it. We all go through this. This is it. I mean, everyone goes through it. You do it when, I look outside and I'm like, it snowed out. I don't feel like going out and doing the driveway. I'm just going to let it melt or freeze up or whatever it's going to do. I don't care. Attitude is everything to make you do what you need to do. I've made a living in art basically since I got out of college in 1992. And when you're working in the art field, no matter what it was, whether it was I was custom painting motorcycles or I'm designing parts or I'm painting a car, when you're working in the moment, you have to get past the I don't feel like it. Because there's a lot of days you don't feel creative. I mean, if you're a designer, graphic designer, product designer, artist, anything, there's days you go to work and go, well, I don't know. I think I'll check my emails for a little extra longer bit today, and maybe stroll over to sales and see what they're doing. And you know what I mean? You kind of you're just not feeling it. So how do you get from I'm not feeling it to I've got to get this done? I'm really excited about it. Well, here I have a few tricks for you, a couple of life hacks. So let's get into that. So the life hack is first acknowledge that you just don't feel like it. It's okay to just go, I just don't feel like painting today. I don't feel like working today. I don't feel like doing that. That's all right. The fact is that if you have to, then force yourself to. If you don't have to, then force yourself to. Because the times where you don't have to is even as important as the times you do have to. So if you're at work, everyone's a little bit different. So if you're at work, you got to find that thing that gets you excited, that gets the creative juices flowing and things like that. And if you're not at work, it's exactly the same. You need to be able to just get past. Just get past this mind block. Writers call it writer's block. I'm not much of a writer, so I can only take it for granted, I guess. But think about what inspires you, and think about that while you're inspired. So when you're really on and you're doing it and things are coming the way you want and really things are going well, kind of compartmentalize some of that for later, because you're going to need it when you just aren't feeling it. I mean, it's different when you're sick or something like that, but even when you're sick, you can still be inspired. Even if you don't have the strength to go do something, you can still be inspired by what greatness you had just accomplished, the week before or 2 years ago. So number one is think of that. Think about how to take that inspiration when you are inspired and sprinkle it throughout when you're not inspired. One of the ways I get inspired is by other people's work. So there's a bunch of artists I follow on Instagram, and I'm not going to go through them all, but I'll have links in the YouTube comments section so you can click on their links and see what kind of stuff inspires me. It might inspire you. Make a comment. Love to hear more about it. So that's one thing. Next is, and I've got my list here. So I actually made notes today at some point. So if it looks like I'm looking off to notes, it's because I'm looking off into notes. I'm not a professional. So milestone pieces. I mentioned that a little bit a minute ago. So a milestone piece is something that it's something that when you hit it there, it might be a piece of music, might be a piece of literature, it might be a piece of art that you created. When you hit that milestone where, wow, I just nailed it, keep that in mind and remember it. And if it's a client piece, I hope you took pictures of it. You should be documenting everything you do. Word of the wise. But if you keep that passion alive by being able to look at that piece again and go, wow, I really nailed that one. You look at it years later, you might look at that and go, I can't believe I let it go like that, because you've gotten so much better. But don't look at it as a bad thing of, well, I can't believe someone paid me for that. I'm like, it's not. It's the person loved what you had done. And now that you're even better, that just makes it even a greater moment for you, because you have improved. You reached a pinnacle you thought you would never get to. And using your mindset, inspiration, and perseverance, you got there. And that was because you had the right attitude. So that's another way of doing it. Walk away. Sometimes you just got to get up. You've just had it. Get up and walk away. Go for half an hour and go for a walk. I don't know. I wouldn't say watch TV, because that doesn't always help, but do something that's completely outside of what your work is. So you're not thinking about, I know I can do this. Don't do that. Just walk away from it and just be away from it. Go do paperwork. I mean, I find that something I do. If I need to get away for a minute, I'll go do some mindless paperwork and pay a credit card bill or figure out what supplies I need to procure for the next project or something like that. Something that's completely not creative. It's just mindless. Because then when you go back to, oh, I can go back and paint something. This is so much better. So that's another way of doing it. Talk with other creatives. I know a lot of times when I get stuck somewhere, people I work with at Zero, our motorcycle company, are the best in the industry. So I get stuck with something, I can go, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And always collaboration like that comes up with a better product. And I'm really excited to be able to share that with you because it's very, very important. Talk with other creatives. You can go online. I mean, everyone that's on any kind of social media that's still, valid. You can talk to other artists. There's all kinds of groups. I'm in an acrylic arts group of all levels. It's acrylic art painting, all levels welcome, or all levels of painters welcome. And there's people from grade school kids just getting started to people that are just incredible painters on there. And I just love it because you can ask a question, people can ask questions of you, and it goes back and forth. It's very inspiring. So that's a good thing. Ask other artists. Just start randomly sketching. So just grab your sketchbook and just start drawing whatever. And don't think about if it's good, it's bad, or it's different. Even if it's just a bunch of lines or shading something weird, just start sketching. If you can't draw very well, just start sketching anyway. It doesn't matter. It's just art. There's no wrong or right to it. It's just a matter of getting into that creative attitude. Just start sketching. It could be anything. A lot of times what I could do is I'll just sit down wherever I am with a sketchbook and draw what I'm looking at. I used to go to bars once in a while and I'd sit and draw the bar, mostly because I was broke and I knew I could buy a beer, put it on the table, sit there, do a drawing of the bar with people sitting around and stuff like that. And usually a waitress or a waiter would catch wind of what I was doing and I'd get free beers all night. Free beer all night to sit and draw. And at the end of it, I'd give them the drawing and I'd make a Xerox copy of it or something like that. I did that a bunch of times. It was fun. Just start drawing. There's all kinds of things open up when you just let that flow. But you have to have that attitude, and that's how you can get it. Just start drawing. Call your mom. Most people's parents can be very, very inspiring if they want to be. So call your mom, call your parents, call your relatives that enjoy your work and say, I'm just kind of stuck and I just like to talk a little bit about how to get out of it and be more creative, and let's talk about that. It works. You'll find it works really, really well. Unless all your family is jerks, which mine isn't. Never stop looking for inspiration. So even when you're just existing during the day, look for inspiration. You see a bird, you can see, an awesome car, a sunset, like I'd mentioned before. Anything, something you see on TV, maybe something in a TV commercial you think this ignites an idea for a brand new product that'll change the world. Who knows? But never stop looking for the inspiration. It'll allow you to have the right attitude because you'll be constantly inspired. Try new things so that you're never getting stale. That's another thing. So try new things so you don't get stale. Again, acrylic painting, I can do pastels, I can do a bunch of different things like that I haven't tried for a long, long time or haven't tried at all, but try new things. The last hack I want to talk to you about is just don't beat yourself up. If something doesn't come out the way you want, try it again. Perseverance. You can get it done. Seek out counsel, seek out help wherever you can find it. And there's a ton of places online. You Google anything and you can learn anything you want. There's Skillshare, that program there. There's endless YouTube videos on how to do anything. And there's even guys like me who are working on putting together a course to help artists, especially professional artists, improve their skills. So I've had these struggles, every one of them, and I've been working. I started doing my first paid work probably in the late 80s, so I've got 30 some years of being a professional artist. It was very, very difficult. I spent the first probably 15 years being totally broke, starving artist. Made all those mistakes, learned a lot. It might be advantageous for you to make those mistakes and learn a lot too, because it really creates perseverance, and that's what needs to happen. So let me show you kind of what I'm talking about. I've gone from doing work like this. I spent a lot of time on this drawing at some point. many, many years ago, and it's horrible. And I knew it was horrible at the time, and I just couldn't get it, but I was really trying to do this, and I just couldn't get there. It's terrible. I think this is even when I was in college. So I'm in art school making this garbage. But I was surrounded by people that were, some were not as good, others were better. So instead of beating myself up, I would help the people that weren't as good, and I would learn from the people that were better than me. And it's now gotten to a point where I'll blow my own horn a little bit. I'm a pretty damn good artist. You got to keep at it. That's kind of the idea of the show today. Don't get discouraged. Keep practicing your art. Have the right mindset and have the right attitude when you need it. And if you don't have the right attitude, learn how to get past that when you have to. So if you liked all that, what I had to say today, it was kind of a not really visual show today, a little more design theory and methodology, but that's important to artists. So as the show develops, some of these shows are going to have a little more how-tos. I'm going to do some how-tos right here at the show, right here at my desk. We'll be having guests on. I've got some other artists lined up that want to come on over the next probably 6 months or so. And I'm always looking for other people that have inspiring stories that they want to share to come on, and let's spend a few minutes. We can get together and talk. Again, I'm building an art instruction course. If you want more information on that, email me at ken@maddkstudio.com to get on the mailing list. So when I get this developed, you can be the first to know. It'll be a subscription program for the most part. It's going to be inexpensive of a monthly charge. I'm not sure what it is yet. I'll figure that out. But I'm pretty excited about it, but I'd like to get some interest in it first. So please send me an email if you like that. Go to my website, maddkstudio.com, to look at all the different artwork and whatnot that I'm doing. And I really appreciate you watching. So like and subscribe, and most importantly, share the show. I would really love to grow this into something bigger and build an art empire. That's my goal. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. MaddKstudio.com. The MaddK Studio Show episode 3 is a wrap. We'll see you next time.